I don't know if anybody's seen this truck. I'll just kind of do a quick walk around of it. It's a 2001 Chevy Silverado 2500 HD. It's the 6.6 Duramax with the LB7. Kind of an unusual story. Car was originally from Texas, and I cannot remember the name of this color. It is basically a burnt orange. I don't know what Chevrolet called it, but it is a pretty specific to Texas color because of the Texas Longhorns. And I've even had people drive up to me in the parking lot and say, "Hey, is that truck from Texas?" And it's like, you know what? It certainly is. So, original owner bought it, had it in Texas, came to California, sold it to the second owner, and I bought it from him. It sat at a gas station, and it had a whole bunch of other vehicles crammed all around it. So driving by every day, it's like, I was looking for a truck. We had been in a wreck in our half-ton Suburban, our 03 Suburban, and I needed a tow vehicle, and drove by once or twice, and then I stopped one time, and it's like, oh wow, cool, it's a crew cab. That's kind of what I'm looking for. And drove by again and actually got out of the car and saw the badges, and it was like, holy cow, it's a Duramax. That's what I want. And so I went home, talked to the wife about it, figured out what we wanted to do. It was blue booked for 13, and had a for sale sign right here for $9,200. So I didn't know the owner or anything. It was just some random gas station, and the guy had left the truck at the gas station for the gas station owner to advertise this truck as well as the 10 or 12 other cars that were there with for sale signs. So what ended up happening was I went up and talked to the gas station owner and told him that I was interested in the truck, and he made contact with the owner. I talked to my wife and I said, if he's got it for $9,200, it'd be nice to get it somewhere, maybe no more than $8,500. So from the $9,200 price, I offered $75 and figured he'd come back with like an $82, $85, in between the $92. And, maybe we could work the deal. Well, surprisingly, he came back and said, $7,500 sold. And I said, oh, wow, okay, that's kind of shocking. Okay, great. Let me get some money together, and I'd like to take it to the dealer because I had a buddy that he's a service manager for DeLillo Chevy. He's actually over at Connell now. And he has a couple of Duramax specialists, and I took it over there and had those guys go through it with a fine-tooth comb because I wanted to make sure that the injectors were balanced and everything was good on it. So I came back about an hour later. I think I paid him like $100 or whatever for going through it, doing the diagnostic stuff. And it had 10 items that were wrong with it. It had bad batteries, and the batteries were like Walmart batteries that were just like duct taped in there. They were a mess. It had 4 tires on it, and all 4 tires were a different brand, and most of them were bald. It was smoking, which they said that was no problem. The headliner was hanging down, which you could see it still is. It's not that bad. It had a bad U-joint on the drive shaft. Or no, I'm sorry, the center bearing, the classic 2-piece drive shaft, that center bearing was bad. So started looking at it, and it's like, geez, this is all stuff that's easy peasy. I can do all this. So I went ahead and bought new tires for it. I bought the yellow tops. I pulled the drive shaft out, ran it over to Driveline Industries, and had all new U-joints put in it, put a new center section, and had it balanced. Did everything but the headliner, and cleaned the injectors, did all that stuff, and basically had a turnkey, reliable truck. I think when I bought it, it had 172 on it. What had happened was the previous gentleman that owned it, he had health issues, and he had long commutes, and he drove the truck on these long commutes, and I guess he had a couple of accidents with it. He had a couple of medical emergencies while driving it. I'm not real sure about what happened with the door here, but that was a separate accident. And I think he had one of those drive-by body shop guys that said, hey, 50 bucks, I'll fix your door. Well, they punched a hole in there, and then they put a ram bar inside there, and then they just popped the dent out with the ram bar. And they did the same thing down here. Another hole to the door, you know, great body work. So, yeah. The window doesn't roll down all the way, so that was probably one of the other 10 items on the list, but you know, not a big deal. Not a big deal. Considering I was looking at spending 15, 20 grand, and I got this for 7,500. I was thrilled. Then he had another issue where he had an issue with, I think he had low blood sugar, and he went to a drive-through and tried to get some food. And what happened was he kind of started to pass out, and he accidentally put the truck and went across the parking lot and rear-ended, or basically put the tailgate into some parked cars. So all the corners on this thing are banged. And I've thought about doing the later edition Chevy bumper that's got the little cutout for the step, especially now that I'm older. And then you see here where the sun is really beating the paint. And my buddy at the Chevy dealership, believe it or not, they got a paint and body shop that is just outrageously cheap. And they can redo the bed on this thing. And because the hood, the clear coat's coming off. You know, it is a 3/4 ton, but it also has the roof clearance lights. So that's another issue. But, you know, just a lot of little bruises, dings, dents. The paint actually, when it's washed, is actually not bad, other than the bed and the back corners in the door. This is another one. I'm not sure what happened there, but the paint just bubbled and popped off. So, but yeah, it's and more clear coat on this fender. So maybe have the whole front end and the back end redone. The cab and the roof, surprisingly, are in really good shape. So that's pretty much it. It's been a good truck. It's towed a couple of my Chevys to the drags. It's towed, picked up cars, picked up projects, towed the kids' Nova with it, towed our Bug with it, towed the RV with it, and you know, it's still got some life in it. So, you know, you just keep it maintained, keep good oil in it, keep filtering the fuel, and you know, it'll last a while. So, but all of our pickups before, we had a 67 Ford Ranger, and then we had an 80 Chevy crew cab. It was the cheapy custom deluxe 4-door with a 350 and a granny gear 4-speed. The what is it? The 485 low gear granny 4-speed transmission that was in that one. We stroked it to a 383 and did a lot of towing with that one. And 1 year after using our 5.3 liter 2003 Suburban for towing, and getting in the wreck and having to rent a diesel to go to the drags, wow, night and day difference, the diesel versus the gas. And from that day forward, it basically ruined me forever having a gas pickup again, especially with the towing that we do. So this is it. It may come a point where we take this one and our 2008 Yukon Denali and basically sell both of those, and then try to find a later, newer Duramax. Definitely going to be looking for a 4x4, because I've had this 2-wheel drive in the snow in Montana, and it's pretty much an ice skate. So anyway, all right guys, well, That's all I got. I know it's a little off subject. It's not a Tri-5, but you know, you got to get the Tri-5s around. You got to get them to the drags. You got to get them to, you know, you got to haul them places, and this is the hauler right now. So thanks for watching, guys. I appreciate it, and have a great weekend.